Adam Aizer is bringing the heat with his bold predictions for 2025. Next on FFT Express. What's up, everybody? Dave Richard, joined by Adam Aizer, who told me seconds ago he has 6 bold predictions. Let's hear one of them, and I'm going to grade them on a scale of A to F on how bold they are, Adam.
Oh, well, I'm starting with the least bold and
All
going
right,
to
so
the
here
boldest.
comes your F.
Yes. Bold prediction number 1, Nico Collins will be wide receiver 1.
Oh, I don't think that's an F at all. Why do you think he's going to be wide receiver 1?
I think he is, obviously the clear target leader for Houston. I think they're going to throw the ball enough. And in the first 4 weeks of the season, before his hamstring injury last year, Nico Collins was on pace for more than 2,000 receiving yards and over 180 targets. So that's obviously awesome. He is perennially one of the leaders in yards per out run, yards per target. He is, I think, obviously in fantasy circles, we know him. You ask a casual football fan, I think Nico Collins might be the best player that people don't really know about in the NFL. So I'm looking forward to him having a huge breakout season from, an attention standpoint and really entering the chat, as they say, as one of the truly elite players. I don't think it's that bold of a take because I have him as my wide receiver 2. Most people have him on our,
Right. I've got him 4th.
4. Mm-hmm. So I think Nico Collins has his year where everybody realizes how good he is, and he's going to be wide receiver 1. Bold prediction.
I think about that run game in Houston, and if they can't get it on track, that means more pass attempts for CJ Stroud. I'm going to give that a C on the bold scale, so not an F whatsoever. Number 2, Adam.
Number 2, I went with Ricky Pearsall outscores Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, you want me to give the okay? I thought you were going to grade it.
A little explainer, yeah. A little bit. Give me a little bit.
Well, with Garrett Wilson, he's been over 140 targets every year of his career, and I think his highest finish was wide receiver 19 per game in full PPR last year. Justin Fields doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns. Now, Garrett Wilson, I think you look at the DJ Moore year with Justin Fields, which was terrific. DJ Moore had a lot of very long touchdown catches, right? He had these big explosive plays. That has been something that's been missing from Garrett Wilson. He's been, since entering the league, one of the worst. So here's been his explosive play rate in 3 seasons. There's usually about 85 to 90 wide receivers with 50 or more targets. Garrett Wilson's been 54th, 75th, and 61st. I don't really think this is necessarily a Garrett Wilson problem because I watched all of his targets of 20 or more air yards last year, and I think Aaron Rodgers was really to blame. Missed him a lot. Garrett Wilson can get by people. He can get open. I just don't think that Justin Fields is necessarily the quarterback that's going to make this work for him and finally give Garrett Wilson this breakout season. Because again, he's had the targets. I'm not worried about the targets. I'm worried about the touchdowns, really. Pearsall, first round pick last year, got, the gunshot wound. He was worried about living and not just playing football. He said that the season was basically his training camp because he didn't have that. So, obviously a much better offseason for him. Steps into a big role, terrifically talented player, better offense, great yak guy. It's going to be better than Garrett Wilson.
12.7, 13.0, 14.8 are the full PPR per game averages for Garrett Wilson, with 14.8 coming last year. Over 9 targets per game for Garrett Wilson each of the past 2 seasons. Listen, I think this one's definitely got a good shot of happening. I'm a big Pearsall guy. I give that one a C. Number 3, Adam.
All right, so I said Nico Collins would be wide receiver 1. How about this? This honestly doesn't require that much explanation. Tyreek Hill will be wide receiver 1. He, is coming off 2 straight 1,700-yard seasons, had a preseason wrist injury, lost a lot of targets to Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith isn't on the team anymore. I don't think the Dolphins can be great. And they have been very good, as Jamie pointed out. When Tua has been healthy, what were they, 20-11? Under Mike McDaniel? So they're a good team. I don't think they can get back to that without Tyreek Hill being a huge part of it. Tyreek Hill will be wide receiver 1.
He averaged 14.9 PPR points per game on 7.9 targets per game in 11 games with Tua starting last year. That includes a game that Tua did not finish. If we take that game out, it's actually 15.8 PPR points per game. I'm worried about the upside. I'm going to give that bold take a C. We'll be back with Adam's next 3 bold takes right after this. Adam, bold take number 4. Let's hear it.
Very bullish on the rookie running backs. I will say that 2 rookie running backs will finish top 5. One of them will definitely be Ashton Genty. I think Hampton's got a great chance, and I think Travion Henderson has a decent chance to do it. After that, I think it would be a little surprising, but RJ Harvey has a shot. But I'll say, look, nobody thought Bucky Irving was going to be as good as he was. He wasn't top 5, but he could have been for a full season if they had just gave him the chances. So 2 rookie running backs will finish top 5.
All right, not bad, not bad. I'll give that one a C. Next bold prediction.
All right, my next 2 are about offenses here. The Kansas City offense will break fantasy in a good way. This has been a team that, and I'm about to talk about this on CBS Sports Network, but this has been a team that's been so dedicated to getting their explosive plays back. And I think it's so funny to think they lost in the Super Bowl and they're coming off a disappointing season. But I do feel like they have to evaluate their team and say, look, we got to get the explosives back. They kept talking about it. We saw it in the preseason game against the Bears. I think they're going to go nuts. I think they're going to be great values. And can you believe that we don't have a single Kansas City Chief being drafted in the top 48? Like Mahomes is right around there. It's been so long since that's been the case. We usually had 3, Kelsey, Mahomes, and whether it was Tyreek Hill or Isaiah Pacheco, I'm guessing we may have 4 in some seasons. So I think that they could be absolute steals this year, and they're going to break fantasy in a good way.
This is the lowest we've been able to draft Patrick Mahomes since 2018. And that was before Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. So definitely value there. I've seen Worthy go as a top 48 pick, but I haven't seen any Chiefs going as a top 36 pick. Right. So to your point, they definitely have a lot of talent. And I think people are just a little bit nervous about another, okay year from the Chiefs, but they've definitely talked about being more explosive. We'll see if they can do it. What grade do you think I'm going to give you?
B.
No, I think I'm going to go C. You've got one bold prediction left. Let's hear it.
I do think this is my boldest one. The Dallas offense will be crap. They were 18th in scoring last year with Dak Prescott. If you remember the way the season progressed, I'm just going to pull it up real quick. For CeeDee Lamb, he had that one big fourth quarter against the 49ers. And in that game, CeeDee Lamb scored 39 fantasy points. Other than that, 13, 19, 8, 22, 11, 15, 15. That was what CeeDee Lamb did with Dak Prescott last year. There was no George Pickens. There was Zach Martin last year. There was probably a better running back with Rico Dowdle. People are very concerned about their offensive line. It's not being considered as it to be a good one. I know Pete Prisco on the Draftathon said he does like it. He says they're young, but he likes the young guys. Dak Prescott last year had a pretty troubling trend where he was running less, and his sack rate went way up despite his pressure rate not going up. So are we at the point in Dak's career where he has lost some mobility? Those 2 things would suggest yes. I think he could bounce back from that. So I'm not exactly drafting this way, but I just want people to remember that CeeDee Lamb was a bust last year, and that was with Dak, and that was without George Pickens being on the team. So Pickens gives me hope for their offense, but their offensive line does not. Dak's, getting up there in age. It's not old, but might not be running as much. Their run game could be abysmal. And I don't really believe in Brian Schottenheimer. I think he has, I have this stat. He's like 3 top 10 offenses in his entire career as a play caller. So he has some really great years with Russell Wilson, but also some very underwhelming resume.
Yes.
I think the Cowboys are a mess, and this could be the end of a long, sustained era of offensive greatness for the Dallas Cowboys.
And unfortunately, one that's going to cost them on the salary cap because they paid Dak what they did. As far as getting a gauge on the offensive line, I'm going to read you the early season schedule for the Cowboys. You tell me when you think we're going to know what that offensive line is, given the matchups that they have.
Week 1 and week 2.
Well, week 1 and week 2 is against Philadelphia and the Giants. And those are 2 teams with good pass rushes. And they play Green Bay and Micah Parsons in week 4.
Yeah.
In between then Chicago week 3. Like if they stink in all 4 of those games, then yes, we've made a huge mistake on the Cowboys, and people that drafted a lot of Dak and a lot of Lamb and a lot of Pickens are probably going to need to adjust expectations. I can't give you a C for that one. The gag was giving you a C for every single one, but that one on the boldness scale, that's an A-. That one's good. And there you have it. 6 bold predictions from Adam Aizer. We will see you next time on FFT Express. No, don't whisper.